Hello everyone and welcome to Volkswagen's most popular and best-selling SUV from its lineup, which is the Tiguan. Its classier image and also the practicality makes it one of the most appealing compact SUVs. So in today's video, let's find out everything in detail about this Tiguan. Before we move forward, please consider subscribing to my channel by clicking that subscription button and make sure to press that bell icon and leave all the notifications on, so that way you will never miss any video updates from my channel. So there are fair few options available in this Volkswagen Tiguan with a lot of engine options. So let me first come to that. So you get 5 different models. So the first one is the Trend, the second one is the Life, the third one is the Elegance, and then the top of the range, which is the R Line. Now in the Trend you get a 1.4 liter engine option. With the Life you get 1.4 liter, 2 liter TSI engine option. With the Elegance, 2 liter engine option, and with the R Line again 2 liter TSI engine option. So the particular model that I am reviewing is this Tiguan R Line. Now let's start from the front. So you get this chrome grille out here with the Volkswagen badging, and yeah, the chrome amount is just about right. There's not in like too much done on the frontal end. At the bottom also there is this black color, which is again the part of the R Line package. So you get this black color glossy plastic out here surround with the chrome strips, and also at the bottom there is chrome with the black glossy plastic. But here's one more thing, like on this side of the bit it's got the plastic cover, but on the other side there is like a cutout which has been given. Obviously there is another radiator which has been given, but yeah, it looks a little odd when you look at it. Even when you see it out here, they've tried to give it like a vent kind of design out here, but it's not vent but just the glossy black plastic. Now when it comes to these headlights, these are dynamic LED headlights. They've got the DRLs inside them and also the turn signals out here. Even there is a chrome strip inside as well. And the meaning of the dynamic headlights is it keeps automatically changing the range of the headlight, according to the traffic in front of you or the oncoming traffic, or if you're following someone. So yeah, they are like those clever IQ lights is what VW likes to call it. There is no dedicated fog light, but yeah, you do have the cornering lights, which are the part of the dynamic lights. Now on the sides you get 20-inch alloy rims, part of the R Line package. So you get bigger rims, and you also get these side arches out here, plastic ones, so that you don't damage your fender. And there is also this R Line badging with some more chrome around. At the bottom also there is a chrome strip, but no skirting on anything at the bottom. So yeah, it looks like the car has been a little raised up in terms of its height, so it looks like a proper SUV. Now when you come to these side mirrors, these are power foldable. They are body colored side mirrors. They also have the LED turn signal in them, but the thing is there is no blind spot warning. So the blind spot warning is a part of an optional extra which you have to put, and then you can get that. So that is available on the Elegance and the R Line. There is also a chrome surround around these windows. There are also roof rails. These door handles are smart keyless entry door handles, so you don't really need to unlock. That's how the way smart keyless entry door handles work. There is also plastic arches in the back, thick ones, and also there is like a bit of crease that goes like shoulder line out here, very soft line out here which disappears in the rear door. But yeah, overall the design is very much like German, sharp and precise. Now if you look at the Tiguan, it looks like a Touareg has been put in a washing machine and it's shrunk, and that's how you end up with this. But yeah, it looks very similar to a Touareg. Now in the back you get LED tail light cluster, complete LED tail light cluster, even the turn signals and all of that. So that's also a part of the IQ light, the intelligent lights out here. There's a chrome strip on the bumper which goes from one end to the other. At the bottom another strip. At the bottom of that is a black color glossy plastic, and that is part of the R Line package. Then you would notice these chrome surrounds with quad exhaust tips, but the most annoying part is they are fake, like literally. Like, yeah, as every manufacturer is going towards that trend, so yeah, they've also followed that. So you have quad exhaust tips, non-functional quad exhaust tips. You have the Tiguan badging, the Volkswagen badging in black and chrome. Now in terms of the visibility, this is very decent in terms of that, because it's a very tall car and even the windscreen is not really sloping, so you get good amount of view on both the sides. It's just some of the pillars that would hinder, but it's not that much, so that way visibility is pretty good. There's also a spoiler which has been given. Now when it comes to the boot space in this standard setting, oh, by the way, you can even swipe your legs. It's got that smart tailgate opening system, so you can do that as well. There are scuff plates out here, plastic ones, so that you don't damage your bumper, but be careful because that scuff plate and the bumper itself is very close to each other, so you would end up scratching with a few scratches on the bumper for sure. In this standard setting, you can put 615 liters of boot space when the rear seats are upright. There's also a boot separator. That boot separator is very easy to remove, but the only problem is that there's no space to put that boot separator, so it consumes a little bit of space out here, but otherwise it's nice and even boot space which has been given. At the bottom of that, there is also a spare wheel, like not the full size but a temporary spare wheel with all the tool kits and a high visibility jacket. There are also more storages on both the sides. There is also a 12-volt power socket with the lights, the boot light, and the rear seats are foldable in a ratio of 40:20:40, but you can also fold them from here in 60:40. so there are levers given out here. You pull them and the seats would fall down. My bag is on the rear seat, so which is why it's not completely fallen down. So yeah, when you fold down these seats, you can put 1655 liters of luggage. Now that becomes really big. Even the 615 liters, it's very, very good boot space that you get on this Tiguan. That's what they worked out, and given you that extra bit of boot space. And when the seats are folded down, there's only small bit of step, but otherwise it's a very smooth one. And then you can even shove this boot separator in the back, and then utilize all the space which has been given. There's also one more cool feature, which is when you lift up this spare wheel cover, there are like points given so that this cover stays upright. This is much more easier when you're removing the spare wheel and working, because most of the times you have to just lift and then take out stuff, then it keeps falling down. But here it's all managed. It's just the German way of doing things. The tailgate is also electronically operated for your convenience. This comes standard across all the models. Now when you sit inside the VW Tiguan, you would realize why this car is so liked and it's one of the best selling SUVs from VW's lineup, because the fact is it's simply very practical and very straightforward in terms of its cockpit layout and also the choice of material. So let me start off with the choice of material first. You get soft touch material out here on the dashboard, on the door cards, but it's below the eye level when it starts to go like plastic, which sometimes may look a little cheap, especially on a top of the line range, which is this R line. So you get plastic out here, soft touch here around that, nicely merged infotainment screen. There's also this carbon fiber kind of whatever this design plastic trim which has been given out here, even on the door cards, and some more silver lining. And where you're going to be resting hand, that is all soft. The handrest is soft touch with leather covered black color. Even door cards have the soft leather covered support out here. There are also lights, interior lights, mood lights given, and then you can change the color from inside this infotainment screen. There are various different options. There are lights inside the footwell as well. You can't change the color of those lights, it's just standard white color, but on the sides you can change that. So you can change from red, blue, whatever lights you want. So all that can be changed from the infotainment screen. So overall the fit and finish is really good inside, and the usual VW standards which has been given. Now when you come to the driver's display, you get 10.25 inch bright display out here. I say the word bright because it's very clear, it's crisp, and it's actually pretty flawless and smooth. Like it's these kind of systems are also available in the other VW models as well nowadays. So the recent one was the Terramont, so I've done the review of that as well. So you can click on the pop-up banner out here and you can watch the full detailed review of the VW Terramont. Now on this screen you would find dials on both the sides for your rev counter on the left side, the speedometer, and in the center the information. There is also a view button with which you can change the different views on this one. So you can go full screen where you see all the details, then you can go to another screen, there is more details. So different setup of layout setup that you can get here. But one of my favorite is this: when you go to the right, there are, so let me come first to the different options that you can see on your dashboard itself. So on the driver's display actually, so you get the driving data in which you can see your overview, your range, how much air conditioning is consuming in terms of the power, the speed, the oil temperature, the trip information, the consumption in your fuel average, and then you come back to the overview. Then when you go to the right side, you can go to the assist systems to see your cruise control, limiters. There is also the navigation system, then the telephone, then there is the vehicle status. If there are any warnings, it would show you that. Then you come back to the same driving data again. Now the favorite view which I was telling you about is when you go to the navigation and then you go to the view and you get a full screen of the navigation system, and then there is still the speed and everything is at the bottom, but yeah, you essentially can just get the full view of your navigation system without moving your head around. So that's a less distracting thing, but I like how they've used the full screen to show the maps as well. Now there are also, when you go back to the traditional view of the counters, so those counters on both the sides, you can change the information on that as well. Those are customizable dials. In the center, the information that you can go into the infotainment screen, there's settings, and then inside that you can change, you can leave it in auto, you can leave it in different the classic view where it shows you gears and speed. There's also view 1, view 2, view 3, and all of those views also can be individually customized to show you different whatever setup you want to have. So yeah, lots of customization options that you can do on this driver's display. Now when you come to the steering wheel, this is a leather covered, half perforated. I say half because where you're going to be resting hands, that's where it's perforated, and it's a flat bottom steering wheel, so it gives you more sporty kind of feeling. And this leather covered steering wheel has nice feel to it as well. There is also an R-Line badging at the bottom, VW badging in the center. There are also paddle shifters in the back, but tiny ones, those paddle shifters, yeah, like just this much. So yeah, I don't know, you're probably going to be driving it in auto because it's anyways a family SUV. The steering wheel is mechanically adjustable, tilt and telescopic both, so you can find that perfect position for your driving. So lots of, again, options for the setting up your perfect driving position. Now just one more thing, like the steering wheel has now all touch buttons, so those are touch capacitive buttons. Now this same sort of setup was also available in the VW Golf New Mark 8, so you can click on the pop-up banner out here and you can watch the detailed review video of that. But if you do not want to watch that, you can continue watching this one. Then let's come to this. Then yeah, you get touch buttons on both the sides, and the thing is, it's a little distracting, and most of the times it's accidental touch which I have ended up with using these buttons, because you still have to take your eyes down to see these buttons. So on the right side you would find the buttons to change all the information on the driver's display, then your communication control, the view button, and also the button at the bottom to change the tracks for the media controls. And on the left side you would find the controls for your cruise control and the speed limiter which has been given, and at the bottom the speed dial, and you can slide them, you can use however you want, you can press them or use them. There's also a tactile haptic feedback as well which you get, but yeah, it's still not that convincing compared to the button operated steering wheel that you would find. Now when you come to the air conditioning controls, this is also an area where the buttons have been replaced with haptic feedback buttons, so these are all touch buttons. So it's still, I like the fact that it's not gone completely into the infotainment screen. There's also option inside the infotainment screen to use the climate control, but out here, yeah, at the bottom they've given the touch button. So there is on off button, there is the slider button for switching the fan speed, for the fan speed. There is also slider for your temperature on both the sides. So it's got the dual zone air conditioning system on this Tiguan R Line. But yeah, there are also more buttons to change the flow of air, the direction of air, and all of that. But essentially it's all, you have to take your eyes off to use that climate control feature, because most of the times you are still unsure, like you pressed or not, and there is no haptic feedback to those buttons. It's just the pure touch button. Now there's also a menu button. When you press that menu button, it leads you into the infotainment screen, where you can get all the options to control your air conditioning control. So there is like buttons on screen buttons to change the temperature on both the sides. You can sync it. There's also the flow of air, there is also the fan speed, and you can even control the rear air conditioning controls. I'm sorry, there's a tri-zone air conditioning system, but in the back you can just control the temperature, not the fan speed. So you can adjust the temperature of that from here as well. Then there is the air care feature. You can activate it and it will remove all the dust and the pollens and all the fine particles from inside the cockpit, so it will purify the air inside as well. There are also buttons given on both the sides for your heated seats, and for some reason you get heated seat options and not the cooled seats. Probably you can use it in winters when it gets super chilly out here, so at that time this feature is going to be useful. Now when it comes to this infotainment screen, you get 9.2 inch bright and colorful infotainment system. Then it's called the Discover Pro system, Navigation Pro system. The best feature is that this is also a gesture control system, and you can easily just swipe it around. Yeah, it's very responsive. Also, you can go inside your different settings and layers, and then you can use that, and it's not just for the main menu like it was there before. Now they've expanded it and you can use a lot more. There are buttons given on the left side for your menu, home, power, and the volume button. There is no dial for your volume or anything. Again, those are all touch buttons without any haptic feedback. So yeah, you get when this is going. It's a little bit of precision, setting out here, where you have to be very precise where you're going to be pressing the options. Otherwise you have to take your eyes off to press that option. Then on your main screen of the infotainment, you will find the options for your radio, your telephone, navigation. Navigation is inbuilt navigation, but there is also Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, so probably you are going to end up using Google Maps. But yeah, they've given that as well in case you don't have the ability to connect to those Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. So it's a pretty decent navigation system as well. A little laggy I found, but nonetheless it's still manageable. There is also the drive assist, in which you can change all the safety systems in this one, which is your drive alert system on this one, which you get. There is an animated effect also on your screen. Then there is the media option, in which you can find all your connectivity options. So in terms of the connectivity, you can connect to this infotainment system, as I mentioned, using the Bluetooth, USB. There is also wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay. So that is one of the most convenient features that you are going to be using most of the times on this infotainment system. And then when we go back, you can connect to the App Connect feature, which is your Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. Then the more detailed settings are inside your vehicle settings, where you can see all the options for your car out here, your vehicle status. There is also tire pressure monitoring system. There is also the selection at the bottom, where you can change the digital cockpit, which I was mentioning about, where you can change the information on your driver's display. That you can change from here. There is also the driving data. There is also the vehicle status, and there is also more options in the settings. When you press that, you are led to a huge list of options, where you can see your tires, lights, parking and maneuvering. There is background lighting, which I had mentioned. You can change the interior lightings, the mood lightings which are given, the seats, the instrument cluster, and also there is a heads up display which has been given. I'm going to come to that. So you can change the information for your heads up display and everything from your units and all of that. Then once we continue and we come out of this option, then there is the sound option. Now you get 9-speaker Harman Kardon sound system on this VW Tiguan, and this is part of the R-Line package, which is why you get the upgraded 9-speaker. And if you are someone who likes your sound and you care about the sound, then I suggest you go for this Harman Kardon system, because it sounds amazing. And then you can change all the settings for that also from here. There is air conditioning option, which you can go through from the infotainment screen, and you can change all the settings from here also. Then there is the setting option, in which you will find just the general setting for your screen time, date, units, and all of that. The Wi-Fi, your mobile device, factory settings, and all of that. The thing is, this screen is a little bright one, so like glossy one, so it's a fingerprint magnet that way, so you have to wipe it a lot. Like right now also I can see a lot of fingerprints that have this screen has right now. And then when you go to the home button, this is like a shortcut button where you can just customize the menu options on your screen. Those are like the quick options if you want them that you use often, so you can put them all out here. There's also the off-road gauges, yeah, you can see those also, that you can go from the vehicle settings and you can see the off-road gauges as well. Now on this Tiguan you also get the heads-up display, but there is a screen which pops up when you press a button which has been given right next to the steering wheel. It's a mysterious I button, nothing mentioned about heads-up display. So when you press that dial will get that screen out for you, the heads-up display, and on that you can find your speed and cruise control. But that is pretty much it in terms of the information that you can see on the heads-up display. But with that dial you can directly adjust the height of the heads-up display. So yeah, that's like a more quick function if you want to adjust on the move. And if you want to close that heads-up display, you can press that button and then that screen goes away. But yeah, it's more of an option which is quick, and it's a very thought out process that way, so it's not in your way all the time, so you can easily switch it on and off also. Now when it comes to the charging, you get two USB Type-C ports in the front underneath the air conditioning controls and one 12-volt power socket, and in the back you get one 12-volt power socket and one Type-C USB port. And there is no wireless charging which is given on this Tiguan, but I'm still glad that I don't really use that much. It's maybe just me. If you're using, let me know in the comment section below. Do you use wireless charger a lot? So yeah, that is something of a feature that you will miss out here in that case. Now when it comes to the storage, you can put a lot of storage with this one. This is like the most practical car that I have seen. You can put like 2-liter worth of bottle easily in the door cards, and some more storage on the side. There's also a carpet lining inside to make the door bins a little more plush. There's also the storage out here where you can store your phones and wallet underneath the air conditioning controls. Then there are these cup holders, but there's also the storage which has been given. So the cup holders pops out. There are like 2 buttons that you have to press, and then the flexible cup holders will pop out. And if you don't want to use, it's a little harder, but yeah, you can just press it inside and then you can use it as a whole. There is also a door for it, so you can close it and open it, and you can leave your wallets or anything. There is also a center armrest in which you can put like 2 half-a-liter worth of bottle. This is also a slidable handrest, so one of the cup holders is going to be a little useless that ways. There is also a glove box which has been given, big huge one, and even in the rear door cards you can put like easily 1.5-liter worth of bottle and some more storage on the sides, while there are 2 more cup holders given in the center armrest. There is also one more storage given on the left side to store your wallets and phones underneath the steering wheel. Now this VW Tiguan comes with 4-motion all-wheel drive system. There is also different types of driving modes which are given on this one. So there is like a dial given right next to the gear shifter, so there is the button called as mode, so you can change the different driving modes on this one. So you get 4 different driving modes, which is your eco, normal, sport and individual. So individual mode you can customize and change all the settings inside, from your steering, your drive, your lights, air conditioning, all of that. You can change it to sport, normal or eco. Then when you come back to the normal driving, then there are 4 different terrain options. So there is, the first one is the snow, then the second one is your on-road, the third one is your off-road auto driving profile, and the third one is off-road expert driving profile. In the expert one you can change the settings from your hill descent, hill start assist, park assist, all-wheel drive, steering, drive, because this steering is a progressive steering, so you can customize all of those options, how you want the response from the steering and everything to be. So yeah, quite precise that way for a car which is more of a daily driver. So yeah, in that also there are lots of options which have been given. Now on this VW Tiguan you get a full panoramic sunroof, and the best part is this panoramic sunroof opens quite big, and the panoramic sunroof itself, when it opens up, it makes the whole cabin feel pretty spacious. But another feature that I really miss on this one is the sun visors. Oh, that was a bit of a noise. Yeah, so the sun visors, they don't extend. Yeah, they are just fixed. So if you see out here, there's a big patch of from where it does not cover. But yeah, I wish those were the slidable ones or something that would extend and cover the other side of the door as well. Now when you come to these seats, these are Vienna leather black color seats with the design on them. There is also the R badging on the seats itself on the bottom side, but these seats are pretty broad that way. They have these side supports at the bottom, and even on the back rest as well there are these huge headrest. But yeah, the comfort on these seats is slightly harder, but it could be a little more comfortable, but still not a complaint, because these seats on a longer journeys are going to be quite comfortable. Although I'm only worried because these are black color seats, and during the summertime, yeah, they may get a little hot, so make sure to park them under the shade. The driver's side seat is 8-way electronically adjustable and 2-way lumbar control, while the passenger side seat is only mechanically adjustable but nothing electronic. There are so many reasons to like the Volkswagen Tiguan, because as a family car all you need is more practicality and lots of space. With the Tiguan, all of those boxes are ticked, because look at this, even in the rear seats there is ample of knee room out here, and even the headroom is just about enough. Although someone about 6 feet may start brushing their head against the ceiling, but that's still all right, because for the compact SUV this is a very good offering with the amount of leg space and everything. Even you can slide your legs under the seats during longer journeys and stretch them for that extra bit of comfort for the longer journeys. There's also a small bit of tunnel which has been given because this is like an all-wheel drive system, but not that much that it would hamper the middle passenger when someone is sitting out here. Even when someone is sitting in the middle, actually it's a very, very comfortable place in the middle as well. So 3 people can easily sit on this rear seat as well. Even in the rear you get the same black Vienna leather seats with the design out here, and they are pretty much like a flat bench type seat. And the rear seats are also, one more cool feature is it's slidable one. So yeah, you can easily slide them. You can also recline them a little bit. There are also straps given out here. So yeah, you see so many things that you can do with these rear seats. So yeah, lots of comfort options which have been given. There are also 2 cup holders, actually 3 cup holders which I missed. There's 1 small cup holder, but these are not the flexible ones, but just the standard cup holders. The handrest is pretty big and broad that way, so both the side passengers can comfortably put their hands, and also the seat can be folded from here also, which I was telling you about, the 40 to 20 to 20 ratio. So you can even load longer objects out here if you have anything like your golf bag or some skiing things, although there's no skiing option here in UAE. But yeah, if you prefer to put something longer, then you can do that as well, or you can quickly access the boot from here as well. So that's one more option. Now when it comes to the door cards, in the back you get just normal plastic in the door cards, which yeah, I thought there would be some amount of soft touch plastics that they would give, but yeah, it just returns to normal plastic in here, and with this black leather design out here, and where you're going to be resting hands, that's a little soft option out here. Then at the bottom, the door bins are lined with the carpet material. There is also controls for your air conditioning system. There are 2 air conditioning AC vents which are given, and you can control the temperature from here, so you can just make it hot or cooler out here, but nothing for the speed of fan or anything. Now on this Volkswagen Tiguan, you get a 2-liter 4-cylinder TSI engine that produces 220 horsepower and 350 Newton meters of torque, and this engine is clubbed to a 7-speed automatic DSG gearbox, while it comes with the 4-motion all-wheel drive system. And to be honest, the all-wheel drive system also assists a lot in the overall handling and also the dynamics of the car, but I'll come to that as well. So let me first come with the engine and the gearbox. The engine, though, is a very smooth powerhouse, but sometimes it's in that mid-rev range it feels a little lacking. Like if you want to, let's say, accelerate, then yeah, it takes a little while in that mid-range to pick up from that point, but otherwise it's a very smooth operating unit at in the whole sense. And when you club it with the gearbox, the 7-speed gearbox is pretty smooth. Like you don't feel the need for that extra bit of gear or anything, and it's always smooth, and the gear shifts are precise. And there is also the manual gear options, but yeah, let's be honest, it's a family SUV. You're better off just putting it in the automatic mode. But even if you put it in the manual mode, it takes half a second to sometimes 1 second to change the gears, but that is only about it. There are also special driving modes: the sports mode, the eco mode, normal, and individual. So I'll just talk about the sports mode, because yeah, that's when you put the car in the sport mode, things become a little more responsive. The throttle response sharpens up. Let me put it in the sport mode. When you do that, the throttle response sharpens up, and the gear changes also change at a higher RPM. Yeah, so that makes the whole car more sporty that way, but you don't get additional power or anything, but it's just the response changes from that. Again, the thing is, it's a family SUV, so there is no point in all the sport mode or anything. You're not going to be crashing lap records or anything. It's more of just daily cruising, and that is what you want in comfort. And in the normal mode is just about enough. There's also individual mode. If you want, you can customize too, so that's also an option available. Now when it comes to the suspensions, you get sport suspensions on this one, but although it's still a softer setup, it's not like it's gone very hard, but still you get decent amount of soft setup. So let me do a slalom and show you. Like, yeah, it's got a bit of a roll. I'll be honest, it's not like it does not have any roll, but it's got some amount of roll, but it still does a better job. I'm sorry, everything is just flying around. Those are my equipments and not any sound from the car. So yeah, it's just, yeah, everything's just flying inside while I'm doing that slalom test. But yeah, it's still quite composed, and the chassis is really good, which gives you that confidence of, you know, handling those sharper turns as well. Now when it comes to the steering, you get the electronic progressive steering. The meaning of progressive steering is that with speed there is a bit of a weight that is added to the steering wheel, ever so slightly, so that you can actually maneuver and you get a little bit of feedback from the steering system. But the thing is, I still feel a little more work needs to be done to make that steering a little more lively. Otherwise it feels sometimes a little numb, and I get that for long cruising and highway driving this is a very comfortable setup. But yeah, if you want a little more response, it can be improved. But the steering as a whole works very well because it turns very well, and it's also, for an SUV kind of setup, this is very good. Especially the chassis is monocoque instead of the ladder on frame, and this is one of the very few SUVs that comes with the monocoque chassis. So which is why the Tiguan is actually made more for the long-term highway driving and long cruises instead of, you know, going off-roading. Although with the all-wheel drive system you can do light bit of off-roading, but I haven't tried because, let's be honest, you can go but not too deep inside where you will need extra demand and, you know, extra bit of traction, because end of the day it's not a four-wheel drive but it's an all-wheel drive, so that is to be kept in mind. Now when it comes to the brakes, you get 4-disc brakes on this VW Tiguan, and the performance, I am actually quite amazed. So let me do, it's got the grunt as well when you need 100 to 0. Yeah, it grips pretty well, really well, and it's also got the emergency stop signal. Now the thing is, the brake pedal itself, it's really good. Like, it's got a good amount of travel. It's not very sensitive where you just tap on the brakes and it just immediately grips up. It's not like that. It's got a very progressive feeling to that as well. Now when it comes to the noise and the vibrations, the noise, I found sometimes from the tires, you do get some road noise from those tires, especially at higher speeds. That is when you will find a little bit of noise, and there is also a little bit of wind whooshing that you will hear from these windows as well. And apart from that, in terms of the vibrations, there is none actually, because yeah, you get the supreme German build quality. Now in terms of the fuel economy, from this 2-liter engine you can eke out anywhere between 9.5 to 10.5 liters per kilometers per liter, and on a longer runs you can get somewhere around 12 to 12.5 kilometers per liter. But the thing is, because this is an all-wheel drive, which is why it takes that little bit of hit in terms of the fuel economy. But if you go for the front wheel drive, it's going to be definitely more fuel, you know, friendly in terms of its consumption. So, but yeah, it's still not bad for a compact car to have this much, especially a non-turbocharged car to be having this much of, you know, fuel economy. German precision and engineering gets you. When it comes to the safety systems, you get 6 airbags, 2 for the front driver and the passenger, 2 side airbags for the driver and the passenger, 2 curtain airbags on these pillars. Then there is also child isofix points in both the rear seats. There is also ABS. There is also emergency stop signal, as I had shown you right now. There is also the traction control system, and there is also a 360-degree camera system. The output from that is very good. I like how smooth it is, how precise and how crisp and how sharp the graphics are. And you can even select different sort of views on that reversing camera, so you can even see the 3D. But yeah, the 3D is a little kind of okayish, but when you can individually also select the different views on your infotainment screen, and then get to see from what angle you want to see the camera feed when you're reversing. So yeah, quite a lot of options that you get. And this car also comes with auto parking feature. Now I've tried doing the auto parking feature, but yeah, it feels it's not that precise, because when I was doing it, it ended between the 2 boxes of the parking. Yeah, if you want someone to just curse you, then better do that parking. Good luck with that. But yeah, otherwise it's not meant for this region. Probably it needs a little bit of update to that system so that it recognizes the box as well. When it comes to the pricing, the base version of this Tiguan starts with 87,000 dirhams, and the stock version, which is the R Line, starts with 127,000 dirhams. The thing is, the Volkswagen Tiguan is a proper all-rounder compact SUV for pretty much everyone. And let's be honest, it may not be fun, but it's a lot of things for a lot of people. And for that, it is just about a perfect SUV, like a daily SUV that you can, shortlist or even try it out. Anyways, that is pretty much it for this video. Give this video a thumbs up, and thank you for watching this video. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, then you can click here. And if you want to watch more videos, then click here. I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye, take care and stay safe.